we spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitts Show. And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. I'm your host, Jay Pitts, here with Ryan Harris. I'm just going to warn you. It might be some sniffles, might be some hacking, a little snorting, sniffling. The seasonal allergy situation has a grip on both of us. I might be the better of the two, but you might notice a few extra notes on the low end. Ryan?
Dude, this morning, there it is. The allergies have me, but my wife has it too. And our son was 9 months old, was crying for a bit this morning. It was like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. I was like, maybe he pooped, and we can't smell it. Went and checked. Biggest poop ever. Blowout, complete change. Threw him in the bath. One of those poops. And,
dude, one of those. And then you got to clean the bathtub. Like, it's like.
Oh, yeah. Fill it up, then drain it, clean it again.
Ugh,
yeah.
so
bad one.
So bad. I've been there. I can't say that I miss that part of parenthood.
No.
I still have a nighttime diaper wearer because he sleeps like a rock and like won't get up and go to the bathroom, but we'll be out of that even soon. He doesn't nap with one. So, but yeah, no dirty diaper changes in a long time for me, and it's feeling great.
That is nice. I don't mind it too much, except when it's a blowout.
Oh, the blowouts are bad. I will tell you. Well, we're not going to go there.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
I'm sure.
All right. Well, we don't have much for the show today.
What?
No, we got some stuff. News cycle's been slow, but we still have some good stuff. And you know us. We'll go on a tangent here and there.
Before we get into new stuff, have you noticed that we drew some great reset comments?
Yeah,
on one of our recent clips.
Yeah, I got a couple of topics around
the
stuff
funny
like that.
thing. It's like, the ones we decided to do a little bit of politics.
Yep, and
a little bit of like broad scale economic, and there it comes. Great reset. The tinfoil. We are officially tinfoil hat conspiracy days.
Yeah, you didn't respond to it either, though.
I didn't. I wasn't going to.
I was kind of waiting for it. I was like, I guess I'll have to.
Didn't need oxygen, but I like that guy. He's a good dude. Owns a very successful local business here in Louisville. I can't say I'm in 1,000% agreement, but yeah, I think there's something to that. I'm more of a Occam's razor kind of situation. There are simple reasons for a lot of these things. Nefarious is not always. Nefarious grand scale conspiracies are not really my thing. I think it's just simple special interests, simple personal interests that get the powerful can have the luxury of foisting upon the less.
Think about the Great Reset, though. It's not really conspiracy. Like, the Great Reset happens.
It's actually a thing. It is. There's papers. They do a conference every year, but it has grown, as most do in pop culture and with the internet, and it has grown to mean things that it didn't mean originally. But yeah, like Davos and their World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. Anyway,
that's the fourth turning.
Yeah, yep. There's so many.
So yeah, that was good. So I guess let's just hop into it then. Let's go after another topic right now. I was thinking about this, and it's, I said last time, this is a conspiracy, not a conspiracy I have, a theory I have, but I'm guessing this next election is going to see the lowest voter turnout in decades.
After
the last one was the largest of all
time. I'm going to think about the way you said that and comment. I, in recent days, have been considering something similar. I don't know that I would say in decades. I mean
percentage of, not like numbers, percentage of voters.
Okay. Percentage of registered voters?
Yes, I think it's going to be
or
the
by
lowest.
comparison, biggest percentage change from one election to the next. Because that's
No,
where
I think the lowest in decades. No, not from last ones to this one. I think it's going to be the lowest turnout in decades.
Okay, so we needed Jamie here. Hannah is working the camera, so she can't Google things.
I can
for
tell
us.
you 2020 was 66% turnout.
Okay, well that's cool, and it was the largest turnout on record, albeit not on election day. We should acknowledge that it's because of COVID that a lot of state departments in individual states changed voter laws or voter regulations to allow for expanded mail-in voting, ballot harvesting, and things like that, which allowed for a really substantial turnout by percentage of registered voters. That should be noted. However, I want to say, and I'm speaking from memory, so this could be off, I want to say that 2012 was a step down, substantial step down in turnout from 2008. Obviously, 2008, the election of Barack Obama, the first African-American president, first black president, was a historic election with really substantial turnout. If you go back to the election.
Okay, so keep going. I have the percentages for lowest
obviously turnout. That drove an intense amount of interest in turnout. 2012, I want to say, was a letdown. 16, I believe, was an increase. Again, another historic election with Hillary Clinton securing the Democratic nomination, could have been the potential for the first female president. But then 2020 blew away 2016 in terms of turnout behind the ballot harvesting and the expanded.
Yeah, it was almost an 8% difference.
8%? Pretty substantial.
59.2% 2016, 66.9% in 2020.
Yeah. I wonder what the total voter roll is.
How many people?
How many people?
So in 2020, it was 239 million.
239 million.
And so 2016, it was 231 million. So
6% of 240 million, right, is roughly 13 million voters, 14 million voters. So 14 million more votes cast in 20 than 16. Pretty substantial. So here's let's pivot from that, Ryan, because we can quote stats all day. I'm going to say slightly different. I think it could be the biggest dip in voter turnout election over election for consecutive elections ever. I think you could see, because of the spike in 20, and a lot of those this is even saying more here, because a lot of those laws that were put in place and regulations put in place in 20 have not been rolled back. You've just got essentially where the left side of the aisle took advantage of those. Now, the other political party is doing the same. So it's easier to get your vote in, right? And I still think, okay, now a lot remains to be seen over the next few months, because you're seeing a substantial surge by RFK right now. Okay,
there's been a big push the last week.
Like I've noticed. I was wondering if you had noticed.
Of just like people I know posted videos.
He came out with a really good, well-produced, like 30-minute video that was pretty awesome. I watched it the other day. But he's claiming to have eclipsed the threshold necessary to get him in the national debate, which would be really interesting to see, because I'm not convinced that national debates will happen. I'm not convinced that Biden will debate. Trump only. And I don't know if you saw this, but RFK challenged Trump to a debate this past week as well, and even has the circumstances, and supposedly it's a neutral playing field, et cetera, whatever. But I think, absent a strong push by RFK, voters are so dejected by their prospective options that you could see an abysmal turnout, despite motor voter, registrations up in a lot of states. I don't even know what that is, but Pennsylvania is one where they've gone to, you are automatically registered to vote when you go to the DMV to renew your driver's license. So they're seeing crazy increases in voter registrations. And then on top of that, we've got legalized ballot harvesting, which if you're not familiar with what that is, that means someone can come to you, take your ballot, and turn it in for you. Canvassing, things like that. And then like, again, you can just mail in your ballot. You don't have to, there's no excuse mail-in voting in a lot of states now. So whereas you had to provide just cause for mail-in balloting, like for example, you're active duty military member serving overseas, right? Or you have a severe disability that keeps you from getting out. So anyway, all that said, I think there could be a really, really steep decline. I don't know that it will be lower than 2012. I'd like to look at those. Do you have the numbers?
Yeah, I do. So 2012 wasn't that much lower than 2016. 2012 was 58%. The lowest we've had going back to 1980. So they measure it by VAP and VEP. VAP is all residents of voting age, including those not allowed to vote, so I'm not really interested in that number. VEP is voting eligible population.
Okay, so it's not registered voters. It's just voting eligible population.
Yes.
So it basically, if you're eligible to vote, you're eligible to be counted in this, and if you don't vote, you work against it, even if you're not registered. Okay, got it.
So the lowest was 1996, 51.7%.
Who was elected in 96? Bill Clinton's reelection?
Don't know.
I think that was Bill Clinton's reelection because 2000.
Bill Clinton defeated former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole.
Yeah, Bob Dole. Okay, I could buy that because it was almost a guaranteed reelect. And then you had Bush Gore in 2000, which was the big
That was 54.3%.
Florida issue.
That was one of the lower ones too.
Yeah. Okay.
Not the second. The second lowest was 1988, 52.8%. So it's never been below 50%.
88 was a Ronald Reagan reelect.
So the way we're looking at this, then it's when it's almost a for sure reelection, voter turnout's low. But I think we're looking at a complete different reason for why voter turnout's going to be low this time. And it's because everybody hates both options.
Absolutely.
Not everybody, but.
Which, I don't agree with a lot of RFK's politics, but he seems very appealing to me in this point in time just because of he seems very moderate on a few issues where you have a hard time finding moderation.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't want to elaborate on that, but.
So just something I was thinking of.
We can keep talking about this topic. I just mean I'm not going to get into what policies of his that I disagree with.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I think it's fascinating though, and we always talk about this. This is a real estate show, right? But real estate is downstream from economics. Economics are downstream from politics, and it really, if that comes to fruition, Ryan, it says a lot. It is a referendum on what our political system has become because the trend is more interest. The trend is more engagement. The trend is, which leads to higher WEP number that you're talking about here, right? WEP? VEP, voter eligible population.
Yes.
So like everyone has an opinion. I hear often that Twitter is not reality, which I agree with. I think only the most fervent publish their opinions publicly on a toxically frustrating platform. But I do believe that most people have an opinion, right? There are very few people that are completely politically agnostic anymore. And so to say that people are so dejected to the point where they don't vote at all when engagement is at an all-time high really speaks.
I think even those that are voting aren't looking forward to voting this year.
No, you're going to hold your nose.
Like, we know what we're getting either, no matter who it is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
So, all right, that should be some good social clips there. We should also clip me wiping my nose every single time of this podcast.
Incessant.
We should do a counter on social media.
Oh, you're giving Hannah ideas.
How many nose wipes?
She's going to do a nose wipe counter. Ding, ding, ding. I can see it right now in my head.
Yep, viral.
Viral.
All right, let's move on. Did you watch the Tom Brady roast?
I watched about an hour of it. 3
Dude,
hours.
it was long.
3 hours is insane.
I watched the first hour too. And then after
I started checking out.
I heard from people who did well, and I went back last night and watched like different.
Did you skip forward? Yeah. Okay, because I didn't. The ones that I feel like I've seen in most of the clips I have seen. I thought Nikki Glazer was funny. I thought Kevin Hart was pretty funny. I thought, as the host, you
know what I think's most impressive jokes people tell about Kevin Hart? How many different ways they could call him short.
I know, and it's good. Well, Nikki Glazer had the best one. She's like, "I'm going to keep it Kevin Hart," and like everybody immediately knew what she meant. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
I really thought Drew Bledsoe was good.
He was.
I thought Randy Moss was terrible.
So I skipped through that.
I thought
I figured it would be. So let me ask you: Do you know who Tony Hinchcliffe is?
I do, and I didn't see him. He's Kill Tony. He invented Kill Tony, which is
he did great.
Did he?
He killed everyone.
Okay, well, I need to look. I'm gonna find him.
But I feel like a lot of people were like, "Who is this guy?" And I think it was kind of like the general public learning who Tony Hinchcliffe is.
He has moved to Austin and hosts Kill Tony at Joe Rogan's new comedy
his show's
club.
Awesome. I love it.
I mean, I see clips of it all the time, and like the panel and the panel kind of judging.
His whole show is a roast, basically.
Yeah, basically. And he was good. I thought the roast master. I thought Jeff Ross was pretty decent. I thought it was hilarious when Brady gets out of his chair and tells him to stop talking about Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
And
people are still trying to figure out if that was like.
I think it was real. And they panned. The reason I think it's real is because they panned the camera to Robert Kraft, and it is very clear that he is completely clueless. And I just think maybe he's old, and he's been good to Tom, and he's done some unfortunate things, and like Tom just has maybe an affinity for him. I don't know, but I mean, he looked like the clueless old man sitting in the audience that didn't realize he was being made fun of. I tell you who, Segura was terrible, and Kreischer, terrible.
I don't think
cringy.
Bert's that funny, actually.
I've never thought Bert is a funny character. He is not a funny comedian.
There's a lot of these guys that are better on, I would just rather listen to on a podcast than do stand-up.
They actually referenced that. They were like, I don't know any of you. I don't listen to podcasts. Like,
Bert has a good joke.
it's celebrities and a bunch of podcasters. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
They made a bunch of jokes about Bert and Tom and being about Rogan, who wasn't there, which maybe the joke of the night was about Dana White, though. Did you catch the joke? He said that he was basically Michael Vick except with people. and I can't remember who made that. It might have been Jeff Ross, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that is funny. So, there's a few other really good ones that we can't say on this show, probably.
We could, but we're technically a podcast, and we can go. But we're a family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, so that was really good. It was probably the best roast of all time.
Well, that's what they were going for. So I'm hearing. You may
I heard
have
he
been
got
on
paid $30 million to do it.
Really? What? So rumor is Tiger's the next.
Oh gosh,
wouldn't that be wild?
Why would he do that?
I mean,
that is one thing I think about these roasts. Why would these? I mean, $30 million is a lot of money, but he doesn't need that.
Well, that's what my wife asked me. She goes, "Why would he do this?" Because I'm sitting there watching that. She's trying to read. She ends up invariably watching a little bit. She's like, "Why would he do this?" Because they kept making jokes about his kids and his ex-wife.
Well, no,
and
not his kids. There were two things off limits: his kids, and there was something else that was off limits.
They didn't specifically joke on his kids, but they kept saying he ran out on his family, which I don't know if that's a reference towards like Bridget Moynihan, or is it a reference to like his kids with Giselle? Because he has kids with Giselle too, right?
Yeah.
So like, there was tons of jokes about her and the
somebody said he was
and
playing chess, not checkers, and it was a way for everybody to basically call his wife a cheater.
Well, I mean, if you could get paid $30 million to do that, I get it. I told Jen because so correct me if I'm wrong. You might want to Google this. You got your computer up. So the roast was invented, I believe, with from the Friars Club of New York, because it used to be the Friars Club roast. You would see it advertised that way back in the day. And like, I want to say like I saw like Howard Stern got roasted, but it was like the Friars Club roast, and it was the Friars Club of New York, which I think is a comedic group.
Comedic roast began at the Friars Club, a private club located in New York City in 1904.
There you go. So like, and my understanding
Look at
is
you.
what I understand is that it was a way of honoring someone, obviously, and essentially it positions them in a place where it doesn't matter what you say about them, they still are who they are. Like, you can cut me down as much as you want. In fact, I'm going to invite it because in Tom Brady's case, I'm the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yep.
You are above reproach, so they can just take all the shots they want at you, and you can take it and you can sit there and smile and that's the way to honor you is by saying basically nothing can hurt you.
It says the original Friars Club roast honored sincerely respected entertainers.
There you go. I do know things.
I mean, that's impressive.
In the words of Tyrion Lannister, that's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Look at that.
You like that reference too?
All right.
You're not a Game of Thrones guy though, are you?
I watched a few seasons, and then you just get so far behind, and
you got to catch it up.
It's a lot to catch up.
Catch it up.
Yeah. But
all
right. Derby.
Derby happened.
It was a great Derby.
Mystic Dan.
Derby 150.
Mystic Dan, probably the longest trifecta in a non-Derby race I've ever seen. Non-Derby, non-Oaks. The 9th on Saturday had a 35-1 on top with a 21 and a 28 on place a show. It was a $3,900 50-cent trifecta. So a $2 try would have been like 12, 13 grand. Missed it barely, but missed it. Didn't win any money. I cashed like maybe 1 or 2 tickets, very small tickets. Missed a pick 4 on Oaks Day by an egg getting laid by an odds-on favorite in the final race. So that was terrible.
I was down a few $100 until Derby. Hit Derby for $1,000.
Hit Derby for $1,000.
I also had Forever Young, but I thought both of them lost for a second.
Mystic Dan
he held on.
was not on my radar. Several people I was with liked him. One guy bet, I don't know, 20 to win. Had a nice little payout, but it is what it is. Derby's always great. The thing I love the most about Derby is while it's frustrating and maddening to bet because you spend all this time and there's just so much talent in the race, a horse like Mystic Dan just completely misses your radar and wins, but you also get like really good odds on really good horses. And so it's just like sometimes it's your year and sometimes it's not.
The
Oaks is no different.
Churchill Downs is unrecognizable.
It's what?
It's unrecognizable now.
Dude, with the paddock?
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It makes me sad a little bit, but the cool far outweighs the nostalgic loss.
Yeah.
Like, it's epic. It is the world's home of horse racing now.
Well, the paddock is where people would go meet up, and you can't really do that there anymore. You could do it kind of outside where they had those separate food things set up.
But you just walk in there and you feel like you're in a stadium. You're in the horse stadium, and all the connections are there, and the horses are right up close to you. I mean, it's cool.
It is.
It's really cool. And now I understand why they spent $100 million on it or whatever.
Yeah, but cool, man. Love Derby. Going to be back there this weekend for Mother's Day.
Right.
We do that every year.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
We used to do Father's Day. We used to do Father's Day. It's not been a tradition that's carried on, but we're so lucky to have Churchill here close. In fact, I think we take it for granted quite a bit.
I think we do too. It cracks me up. Everybody on Twitter I see complaining about food prices or drink prices, and I'm like, you all realize Churchill Downs is a publicly traded company. The only one thing they care about is how much money they can make.
They have to.
They have no duty. I mean, I guess they have a little duty to the city of Louisville, but people were complaining about the prices were the same on 5-0 Tuesday. They don't have that big of a duty to Louisville.
They pay taxes.
Yeah.
That's their duty.
Their duties to their shareholders.
They pay a crazy amount of taxes that funds the city of Louisville.
Also, if you want to complain about food and drink prices on 5-0 Tuesday, you could get an all-inclusive ticket for $100. Instead of a $20 ticket.
Think about the people that own Airbnbs that can charge $5,000 a week that week. Think about the servers and bartenders that get tipped substantially more those weeks. Think about the local golf courses that get, people come in from out of town and don't have a tee time available. Think about all the economic impact.
Yeah.
Think about all of that. Like, we have entire industries devoted to Derby. Like, and that it's crazy. Charities. Churchill doesn't owe us anything.
I think, this is going to be one of those years for sports in the city of Louisville that's like going to be remembered for forever. But you got, Derby 150, PGA Championship, and then you got the UFC coming here later too, which is sick.
That is kind of
sick. The floor seats for that are crazy.
I know. UFC
5,000.
UFC tickets are nuts.
But you could get a good ticket for like $200.
Like get in, like Vegas get in price is like $500-$600 now.
That's crazy.
Like, you know what I mean? And so I've looked, I've been in Vegas. So we were in Vegas Super Bowl weekend, and they always try to have a UFC fight on the Saturday night of now obviously not when the Super Bowl is in Vegas like it was this past year, but like when the Super Bowl is elsewhere, Vegas tries to host a UFC fight on Saturday night because they know a lot of people come to Vegas for the Super Bowl, for the sports bet, which is probably different now because sports betting is available everywhere, but it is a trip that people like to take. Just like maybe NCAA tournament, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I checked tickets, and this was years ago, and it was $300-$400 get-in price, like in 2010, like 15 years ago.
Dude, do you think F1 is going to move the date of their race in Miami? Because they've done it the last 2 years, the same weekend as the Derby,
right?
And I mean, I feel like people choose the Derby over that
for sure.
So
it seems like you don't want to go head to head with the Kentucky Derby. It's a juggernaut, ratings wise. I mean, like you can.
It's
see
the
that.
Super Bowl. Like we get to have the Super Bowl in Louisville every year.
I know.
It's basically what we get here.
The equivalent in terms of attendance for sure.
It's awesome.
More. It's bigger. It's 156,000 or something.
Just for Derby Day.
Yeah, and Oaks Day, the day before, is 125,000.
Yeah.
Like Thurby had 80,000 this year.
That's crazy.
Like Thursday. Like Oaks used to not get that. It's kind of crazy, man. I mean, like look, Churchill needs to be a good steward, and I think they are.
People complain about the Derby too, Churchill, whenever it's this week, and put the fence around Churchill and people that live by it selling parking spots. That's what makes Derby week. Like,
it's great.
It's part of the experience. It's amazing. And
if they didn't want to do it, they
trying
wouldn't.
to get home is part of the Derby experience too. I'm sorry. Like, I know some people think their transportation should be better, but to me, that's part of the experience.
It is part of the experience, and I get that there are people that it is a lot harder for than me. So I want to be sensitive to that, but like you have to safety is a huge issue, and like crowd control is a big thing. So Jen and I literally, we left Thursday and thought we were walking toward the ride share, ordered an Uber, and we went to the wrong area, and our driver couldn't get to us. And thankfully it was Thursday, not Friday or Saturday. It wasn't quite as busy. Thankfully she waited on us, and we finally got it. But I probably walked 2 miles to meet her to get around the fencing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a few drinks and I wasn't very happy about it, but and that's something we'll talk about.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Hey, remember that time we thought the rideshare was still over here and it was actually somewhere else, and we walked like 2 miles to meet our Uber driver? Yep, yeah, that's what it went.
So part of it, great Derby, probably, best one that in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's good times.
So cool. And I'm hoping I'm alive for the 200th. We'll see.
Dude, you got 50 years. You'll be there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll be there.
A lot of time for something to happen.
You'll be there, Ryan. You're running marathons. You're staying fit, right? You'll have kids to keep you young.
Keep bringing it. Gas me up.
Keep gassing him up, man.
Yeah.
You can live. Now, me, I don't know.
Hot boy summer.
I'll be 90. I'd be 92. I can make it. I can make it.
You can do it.
I can make it. Usually people my size don't live.
How about
long,
this? If we make it, we'll go together.
There you go. Okay. All right. Our kids will drive us. I'll make sure to soak my dentures the night before.
Your kids might have kids.
Preston would be 53. Or no, he would be 61.
So your kids will have kids.
Oh God, great grandkids. God, don't even scare me, man. All right, let's move on. All right, we got to talk about the PGA, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so we just talked. Ryan just bailed on me because he got a better ticket offering. That's okay.
Free.
Free 99. Free 99. Which Ryan is a golfer, a real golfer, not a hobbyist like myself, not a hacker. I will say I'm going to come to this in a minute though, but I had an interesting.
I think honestly, everybody's a real golfer if it's something they're trying to get better at and not just going out there to go out there.
Okay. So. All right. Well, I am trying to get better. I had something happen to me before we get to the PGA. I had something happen to me the other day. This is a rite of passage. I keep having these golf rites of passage. So Derby Day, actually, we weren't going to Derby. We didn't go to Oaks. So we were at home all day, and there was like a window of dry weather. And, I joined a country club not that long ago. I live very close to it. As you know, I can be on the course in almost no time. So there was a 9 a.m. tee time, Derby morning. And my wife was debating on whether or not to go to a Derby party later that afternoon. So I said, hey, do you mind? And she said, no. My older son had a friend over. The other two were occupied. I was like, hey, I'm going to sneak out and play some golf if you're okay with it. She said, yeah, sure. I was unsure whether I was going to play 9 or 18. But I was playing by myself, so it can be very, very quick. And the course wasn't extremely crowded. So I go out at 9 and I tee off, and I'm playing pretty fast, but I come up quickly on a foursome of older guys that didn't let me play through. And I was already at like 7, so I was like, oh, I got a couple more holes. I'll just wait. So the first 9 took me a little longer than expected, admittedly. Usually would take me about an hour 15 to play by myself. It took me more like an hour and a half to hour 45. I text my wife as I'm approaching the turn, and I'm like, hey, what's the deal, or how are we doing? What's the plan? Because I'm waiting on her to tell me whether or not we're going to the Derby party.
Yeah.
Trying to decide whether I'm going to make the turn. And she says, everything's fine. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to make the turn. So I jump out. As soon as I finish 9, I go straight to 10T. I tee off in front of that group, and it's smooth sailing. And I'm playing better. I'm playing much better on the back. I shot a 48 on the front. Not great, whatever. I get to 16 and, I'm like in the middle of the fairway with about a 100-yard approach shot, and my phone rings, and it's my wife. She's like, where are you? And I could tell like the tone has changed, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm in the middle of the fairway about to hit a 100-yard approach shot on 16. And she's like, that doesn't mean anything to her.
But just drove it 3 or 3 yards.
I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, well, yeah, I'm just trying to get the kids ready, and and she at this point still has not told me. She told me via text after I made the turn that she thought we were going to go ahead and go, and I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, what time? She was like, I don't know, 1 or 2, and it's like literally 11:30 at this point. And I played like 7 holes in like 40 minutes. Yeah, like I'm cruising. And so then I could tell that she's like, okay. And I was like, all right, I'll give me less than 30 minutes. I'll be home. Cause I only got 2.5 holes left to play, but and she was cool. She didn't give me a hard time, but that energy definitely transferred. And I'm sitting in the middle of the fairway in 1.
Start playing worse.
I end up doubling 16. Yeah. I hit my approach shot into a bunker, couldn't get out, chipped up, 3-putt, double 17, double 18. I shot a 45, okay, which is good for me. That would be 90. That's basically my par, right? If I shoot a 90, I am geeked. But I shot a 45. I probably would have shot a 41 or a 42 because I doubled 3 holes in a row because she didn't even do it. I could tell.
You know what the moral of this story is?
Don't answer the phone on the course.
Don't take a call from your wife while you're playing golf.
And so I tell a couple of guys, and they're like, "Write a passage, J Pitts. Write a passage. Like, do not answer the phone.
Yeah,
especially not when you're playing well.
When you're on 16, you tell them you're on hole 10. It's really slow out today.
Out today, babe. I'll be there soon.
We're playing as fast as we can.
She was doing me a favor by even letting me play, though. I just probably should have been like, "Hey, can't answer. What's up?" And then like just But then it would have been, when are you going to be home? And I'd be like 30 minutes, and then I would have got like the grumpy emoji. But anyway, moral of the story: don't answer the phone on the course.
Got to prepare them for. I'm going to have a beer after 2, and then when I get home, I'm going to take about a 3-hour nap,
and then I'm going to watch golf, or football or whatever. Anyway, no, it's fun, man. So yeah, PGA. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great.
I'm gonna clip that one for my own social media. There,
You should.
Did you see? I just did the sketch
Tuesday. So my son has started doing sketch on his double celebration in baseball. They do.
Yeah.
They stack it.
I feel like probably every generation, like growing up playing baseball, there's a few chants or cheers you remember throughout your life.
Oh, for sure.
Like I have a couple from when I played baseball that I remember.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see the best players in golf. I will say this. I've been holding this because I want to tell you. I watched a little bit of a live tournament, maybe for the first time the other day. Not impressed. No. It was bad. It reminded me of like COVID golf. Like remember when Phil and Tiger played? Who were the two quarterbacks? Brady and Manning.
I think so.
Okay, so bad. It looked like they were broadcasting from like the setup that we have here.
Here's what I've said about live the whole time. I would watch. Like they try to change it. Just play the players, and then let's do 4 rounds, a cut, and keep it normal golf.
What's with the team names? They're so distracting.
It's lives so far off. It's not even funny.
It's really bad. The teams was an interesting wrinkle for me. I just think if you're gonna do that, it could be done so much better.
Well, I think the teams need to be
names?
sponsored. Like Nike needs to own a team.
Yeah.
TaylorMade.
Yeah.
Callaway.
That would be awesome. And like the team
or even
aspect,
like if Apple owned a team.
Great. Awesome, but not like the 3-putt Willies or whatever they are. It's really dumb. Yeah. The names are dumb.
3-putt Willies. That's E-Town.
That's the bar in E-Town at the golf course.
That's funny.
So, is it still 3-putt Willies?
No,
that's
just
so
Heartland
funny.
Bar and Grill.
Okay, well, which I'm sure it's a much classier.
It's funny you just said 3-putt Willies though.
I just couldn't remember like the actual names, but the names were terrible.
Crushers.
The Crushers. There's like some terrible golf references.
3 aces or the 4 aces or something
it's
too.
Really dumb. Anyway, yeah, Liv was really off. And I'm excited to see them all. Brooksy was playing very well. You know the difference? Another thing that stuck out to me with Liv was how not good the course looked. Like you watch a PGA event,
Pure.
You know they are playing the absolute best golf courses in the world.
Yeah.
And that course...
Well, it's because they have the whole PGA helping them get the course ready and PGA people there. I doubt Liv has that.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild, man. I mean, it was like they were playing like a decent Muni course is what it looked like.
Yeah. So.
But like the greens were like a weird color.
We'll see. Brooks is probably a pretty good pick this week, or
Brooks
PGA
won.
Championship week. But I think my favorite's Rory. He's won at Valhalla before. I said my favorite was Rory at the Masters. That didn't turn out very well. If Scotty Scheffler's there, you obviously got to think about betting him, but Akshay Bhatia is my long shot.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know if you remember me saying this, but he won the Junior PGA Championship there when he was 17. And right after winning that, he turned 18 and turned pro.
Okay. So he's got success at the course. I mean, it's obviously everything I hear. I don't know this personally well enough.
It's like plus 20,000 too, so $100 to win 20 grand.
That's a big number. That's a big number for a dark horse. I like it.
He's won this year on the PGA Tour.
Everything you hear about the course is that it's different than anywhere else, and I don't understand what makes it that, but it's different. So
yeah, Tiger's in town already. The course looks pure.
Yeah, those pictures are pretty special.
It's gonna be a fun week.
Which I saw something on Justin Thomas's social where he was playing and posted some stuff too.
He got a Justin's Louisville sign hung up.
Did get that pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
got emotional. So cool to see. But cool, man. We got a few more minutes left.
We got We got anything real estate today?
I have something.
Let's hit
I was gonna let you bring up 29 agents in the brokerage.
Oh, pretty awesome, man. Yeah, so we do a lot of recognition. I think that is incumbent upon most brokers. I mean, agents like to be able to tout their success. And frankly, we say that there are 2 jobs for every real estate agent when they get in the business, and first among them is to increase awareness amongst the network of people that know them, because that's where their business is drawn from. Job number 2, irrelevant to this conversation, is to grow that. Well, I guess it's not. To grow the size of that network, right? So we got to give them content. When they do good things, what we try to do is produce content that they can distribute. And we do an award here called the Hat Trick Award for the brokerage. And we provide them with a social media graphic to put out there that says they got the hat trick, like the hockey hat trick: 3 goals in a game, 3 sales in a month. Closed sales. And this month or in April, I should say, of 24, we had 29 agents sell 3 or more homes, which, the narrative of the market cooling.
That's closing on homes.
That is closing. That is not under contract. That is closing. Some of the $1 million month club can be a little bit misleading at times because it's pending business that hasn't yet closed. But this is closed sales, done, like irrefutable success. So we've done that. 29 is roughly a third of our agent population, which is really cool. Especially in the face of the narrative that 24 market with high rates and no inventory has been a cooling, which it has, but, really, really special number, I think.
Yeah.
Really
That's
special.
awesome.
Pretty cool.
Very cool. So, let's see. I think I had one more real estate thing. We don't have to do it today though, if you don't want to. It's just a listener question asking about how to what's like the most important thing when you're trying to build good culture at a brokerage?
Well, that kind of culture of recognition is a big part of it. I think what's at the root of our good culture is conversation, not like lecture, right? So education, camaraderie is built when you're surrounded by people that you can identify with. And that doesn't mean necessarily your age or your interests. It's just somebody you like. I mean, I think everybody has experienced meeting someone that you just genuinely like, but know that they're very different than you. You may not be hanging out on the weekends, but you just genuinely respect the person. I think it's most of the time because they're being themselves. So conversation is huge, because when everybody has a voice, people become more comfortable asking questions. People become more receptive to answers that may have not been their own. We don't have an echo chamber, right? We genuinely engage people to talk. I don't stand in the front of the room and lecture for training. I ask, what do you need? They literally tell me in the moment. I give them my thought, and then I invite others to comment and even disagree. Like some of my most favorite conversations, like Roundtable has been great. And just even the name, right? Roundtable seems to promote discussion.
The table is not round.
It is not round. It is rectangular. Or it's a U shape now, actually. It used to be rectangular. Now it's a U shape. But just coming up with the idea of calling it Roundtable says that we're promoting conversation.
Absolutely.
Free thought, idea, sharing. Some of my favorite moments are when like Jeremy disagrees with me and we argue. Right?
I enjoy it too.
I enjoy it because honestly, I want you guys to get a different perspective than just me as the leader.
Well, it's great for other agents to see like somebody clap back at you too.
It's good to see somebody confident enough to disagree with the guy that is in front of the room, right? And also, I don't fold either. I go right back at him.
And it's good. It's another agent that I think every agent in the office respects
and appreciates. Yeah. And it's not always him. I mean, you see it from others from time to time, but it's respectful.
Yeah.
It's respectful. It's spirited. It's well founded and educated. I love that. I love it. I welcome it. I appreciate it. As much as I dislike like a complaint session, which I will not tolerate, I try to be empathetic and say, hey, okay, you've had your minute. Now let's pivot and be, more productive with let's come up with a response.
Not complaint table.
It's not complaint table. This is round table. We're going to discuss solutions. But as much as I hate that, I appreciate when it's dissent, when it's respectful and spirited.
Yeah.
So what is the culture? It's conversation. That's what it is. Conversation where everybody has a voice.
Whether that's in person or online, you do a lot with workplace too.
Do a lot with workplace. Well, we do a lot with this right here.
I think the important thing with workplace too, though, is somebody always gets an answer when they ask something in there. I think you go to a lot of other brokerages and they implement that, but nobody would answer. Mm-hmm. No matter what questions asked in there, it's getting answered every time.
And for listeners that don't know what we're talking about, we use Workplace by Facebook for our company intranet. And, being a social media generation and the majority of our agents growing up with and appreciating the use of social media, it's just like in their natural, it's in their natural daily habit. So when somebody posts there, it's natural for them to respond and comment and, like or share. Or
it's basically like I would describe it as, if you're a real estate agent listening to this, it's like a real estate mastermind. You know that Facebook group that every agent's a part of? It's basically that, but just internally for the brokerage. So
without all the
agents
BS.
Don't have to go post there and get called an idiot or et cetera.
There's no negativity.
Right.
So it's everything you want from those groups without all the stuff you don't.
From agents you know and can trust.
That you appreciate. Yeah, definitely. So. Friends, not enemies. But yeah, man, I mean, it's good. I enjoy that. We do a lot in social media content to put out. We do a lot in podcast content. That's honestly what this podcast has become, is an educational opportunity for our agents, and it just so happens that others tend to appreciate it.
Yep. You know, cool, man. I got one more thing. I thought this was a cool stat. I saw New York City, so wealthiest city in the world. The numbers just came out for how many billionaires and millionaires they have. Okay. So the billionaire number, it's a lot lower than I thought it would be, actually.
Okay.
Like, just take a guess off the top of your head. It's going to be a very hard thing to guess.
How many billionaires would it be reside in New York City?
Yes.
So that's going to be hard, because where does a billionaire reside? They have multiple homes in multiple cities. So can you tell me the source?
Nope, because I have no idea.
Okay. So if it was like, I'm going to guess that they're going to count. Well, there's only so many. I don't know. I don't know. How do you determine?
It's hard to guess.
How do you determine where Elon Musk's place of residence is? Is it Austin? Sure. Is it California? Is it?
That's a good point.
Sri Lanka?
So it says this is for a morning brew. There's 60.
That's a lot. That's about on par. I would have guessed under 100.
Okay. Billionaires, they have 350,000.
They
said 1 in 24 people that live in New York City are a billionaire.
That's crazy. That's a crazy
if you're a billionaire in New York City, you're probably living below middle class,
a fairly poor life. If you are worth $1 million, not because a millionaire goes from 1 to 999 million. So if you have $1 million, you feel poor in New York City.
Yeah. Total resident wealth over $3 trillion.
That's crazy.
And,
that's like as crazy as the stat about like the U.S. baby boomers, like holding 75% of the world's wealth. Like,
and I bet it'd be interesting to see what percentage holds $2 trillion of that 3. Like
what that would be interesting. Well,
like just 1%
does
of
the
2 trillion?
Does the 60 bill? What it would be crazy to see. What the sum total of the 60 billionaires' net worth is.
Yeah, that would be.
Out of the $3 trillion.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, I mean, if you have Bezos or Musk or Gates or Buffett, which wouldn't be Buffett, but like any of those top tier, like the top 10 world's wealthiest people, if any of those are in the 60, then you're talking 300-400 billion right there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of crazy. That's like 15% of that 3 trillion. 10 to 15% of that 3 trillion. So I mean that's pretty crazy right there in and of itself.
Yeah.
But sure. I don't know that any of those technically reside there though.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, man. That's all I got. That's my flu game. Sign us off.
Show up. Right? Show up. That's what you do, right? Even if you're under the weather, show up and give it what you got. Yeah, that's all the time we got for you this week, folks. Appreciate you, grinning and bearing our political and economic and non-real estate talk, but we have fun with it. Hopefully you do too. Follow us anywhere we social at jpittsrealtor, at ryanharris.re. Follow us here on the J Pitts Show, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you podcast. Give us the subscribe, the like, the share, the reviews. They're always appreciated. As Ryan said, we will be back here to talk to you again next week. Thank you from the J Pitts Show. I'm your host, J Pitts. For Ryan Harris, we'll see you soon.
Peace.